All right, everybody, what is going on? Good evening. We've got a little bit more to talk about with Julian Neal today. We've got one more video to make. We're going to be talking a little bit about Julian Neal in terms of tape eval. And to do this, I watched one full game of his tape. It was at Memphis in 2025. So this was a game that Arkansas ended up losing, mostly because their offense couldn't get out of their own way. But this was one of the most notable games of the year for Julian Neal. He had an interception, and it was a nice interception too, but he also gave up a 38-yard touchdown. He also had a couple of penalties, which I didn't see in the cut-up I watched, so I don't know if maybe just PFF is wrong about something, but I wasn't able to actually see the penalties, but this was a game of some pretty big ups and downs for Julian Neal. This video is sponsored by PrizePicks, so let's get into it here. So Neal was only credited with one tackle in this game. In my mind, he had a couple of assists on tackles that he should get some credit for, but didn't. The one tackle he got credit for was a tackle for loss, though. So we'll get to that later. He had the pick, 2 catches allowed on 5 targets, 51 yards, 1 touchdown, and then the 2 penalties. And again, I think the 2 penalties may have been a mistake. I'm not sure. All right, but let's go ahead and get into it. And right from the start, we get a lot of action from Neal. So first play of the game for the Arkansas defense, he's tight to a wide receiver at the line. And that's one thing that I noticed throughout this whole game. He's rarely giving up cushion. He's always like within 2 yards of the line of scrimmage at the snap. On this snap, though, he gives a free release and then passes the receiver off to a safety kind of. And he ends up kind of the almost secondary man in coverage. And the safety's the guy who's kind of closer to the receiver in coverage, if that makes sense. And the receiver ends up catching a 10-yard slant, but at the point where the receiver caught it, Neal wasn't really even covering him. So whether or not you want to blame him for that, kind of subjective, I think. A little bit later, 12:03 left, there's a go route. And Neal actually does a good job keeping up with this one. And this is going to be something to note because the thing with Julian Neal, not that fast. He's a bigger and stronger corner. He is not somebody that's going to be keeping up on go routes all the time. So this is a good rep for him. He's in man, allows a tiny bit of space, but the quarterback still forces a long throw. Maybe it could have been fit in there, but it was very tight, decent rep in man. And the thing about this play that caught my attention, he allows virtually no cushion at the line. He's right up in the receiver's grill, and he still holds up on the go route. So even though he didn't allow cushion, he still did not get beat deep. So good rep by him. I like seeing stuff like that. Next play, he ends up targeted deep downfield after a scramble drill. Really weird play. Quarterback stays alive for like 12 seconds or something. And Neal is following his man from left to right across the field. And he crosses the entire field and then ends up helping break up the pass. He doesn't actually break it up, but he forces an incomplete pass. So good rep by him keeping up on a long play where he definitely could have allowed the guy to get open, and he just didn't do it. So good rep there. 9 minutes, 11 seconds left in the first quarter. He hangs in zone and picks up a running back wheel route nicely. The running back comes out of the backfield and runs a wheel, and Neal is just there to pick it up, and he starts sprinting down the field with him. So good rep there. And then a few minutes later, 6:51, we get a very nice blitz rep from him from outside corner. He beats the running back trying to block him and almost gets a sack and ends up forcing an incomplete pass in the end zone. So great blitz. If you like sports, then the best way to make them even better and more exciting is using the PrizePicks app, where it always feels good to be right. PrizePicks makes daily fantasy simple. Just pick more or less on your favorite players and build lineups with a few taps. Whatever sport you're into, and obviously we are now firmly into the NFL offseason, so we're all about baseball. We got some basketball, we got some hockey, whatever it is you like. PrizePicks gives you a fun way to stay locked in while you're watching. Definitely make sure to use the promo code HMA. PrizePicks is hooking up users with $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. If you use that promo code, that is HMA. I've had a great time on PrizePicks so far, so definitely get on over to it, check it out, and make sure to get your lineups. And don't forget about Team Picks, where you can pick winners, spreads, and totals on any major game. So download the app now, use HMA, and get on over to Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. And remember, always gamble responsibly. All right, so there was a little bit of blitzing from him in this game, and he did actually do it pretty productively. And on this play, it was not a free run at the quarterback either, so it caught my attention. 6:15 in the first quarter, he chases down on a big downfield run to assist making the tackle. And the thing about that play is he started the play within a yard of the line of scrimmage, and then he ends up chasing down a back. So it's not like he was playing back and just came up to clean up. He actually had to turn and run, so that was a nice play as well to me. 4:32 in the first quarter, he drops to depth, and there's a short completion and some yak underneath him, but it's not his assignment. I don't think there's a lot to say there. It just happens. And then with 27 seconds left in the first quarter, there was one play where I thought he did a good job carrying the slant receiver at the goal line from left to right. The quarterback ended up scrambling for the touchdown, but I thought he did a good job taking away the slant and making sure the quarterback couldn't try to fit it to him. Good play. With 12:37 left in the second quarter, he does a good job crashing down firmly against the run from the outside corner spot. So he didn't make a lot of tackles in this game, but you see the willingness to get involved physically. So I like that. That's going to be important. 6:18 in the second quarter, he misses a tackle 20 yards downfield on the big run. He just kind of grabs and slides off the hips. Not a good rep, but it didn't go more than another couple yards because of his missed tackle, so it doesn't even really matter that much. Another blitz here. He blitzes off the edge on a wide receiver throwback trick play with 2:37 left in the second quarter. And this is actually a really good play here because he's first blitzing the quarterback, then he realizes what's going on with the wide receiver throwback. So he turns, attacks the wide receiver that's throwing the pass, and he actually gets pressure on him. Might even tip the pass. I don't know. But it's a terrible throw and it gets picked off. And Neal creates it with his aggression attacking the thrower. So great play there. And then you get to the end of the second quarter here. We get 59 seconds left. He does a good job to drop back to cover a go route. Even though it's pretty well disguised, the offense of Memphis runs this play where the slot receiver kind of runs this go route. And then the outside corner runs an inside route. And it's clearly, I think, trying to cross up the inside and outside corners. And they don't get crossed up at all. Neal actually just drops and takes away the play. Unfortunately, we have another play shortly after that with 37 seconds left. This is the touchdown. He gets torched on a go route. He gets beaten pretty badly, just straight line speed, 38-yard touchdown pass. The ball is underthrown, and Neal does not get his head around in time. The only reason why it was close is because the ball was badly underthrown. But yeah, Neal got torched on a straight line go. Now, he may have gotten OPI'd. That's possible. If you look at the play, it looks like there is a push. And I think there was a flag that got picked up on this play. But even with that, the only reason why he had a chance to recover is because the throw was bad. So he still gets beat like a drum, and he gets beat so bad, even though the throw was bad, he still can't get his head around in time to catch it or knock it away or whatever. So it's a bad rep, and it does kind of speak to something that he might have been okay at college, but in the NFL, if he's running go routes with receivers all day, he's going to get beat. So not a good rep. Admittedly, I think the receiver got away with one here, but at the same time, it's kind of like you still got beat. All right, so that was the first half. So some good, some bad, all over the place, as you would expect with a cornerback, and this is his first full year starting. We get to the third quarter now. 9:35 left. He jukes a block on a draw and then makes a great tackle for a loss. Awesome play. He just absolutely puts the blocker in a blender, and he gets to the ball carrier and takes him right down. Great tackle, everything you could want. 4:16 left in the third. He picks up a wheel route by the back again, and you can see how the hip flipping is a little bit segmented. It's not ideal. So you do see some of that awkward movement stuff. 1:44 left in the third quarter. He falls for a fake go route, and the quarterback runs, scores a touchdown right behind him. You know, it's like the old DK Metcalf play against the Giants where DK Metcalf ran a go route when the Seahawks were running the ball, and two defenders followed him and completely ignored the actual running play because they didn't realize it. So not much Neal can do there. He's got to go with the go route. and he's out of the play because of it. But there's a really nice play by him on a fade route on the 2-point conversion that follows. Knocks it away clean, no problems. Really nice play by him. Really like it. So that was a nice rep by him. Then we get to the fourth quarter. So 12-19, there's a play here. And this is one of the highlights. Beautiful man coverage on a go route. And the quarterback targets him 45 yards down the field. And Neal is hanging with his man, who is a faster and quicker player than him, 45 yards down the field. It is a slight underthrow, but the coverage is really good. And Neal makes a great play on the ball and gets the interception. So we see the ball skills here. It's a pure one-on-one. If Neal gets beat, it's a touchdown for Memphis. And Neal shows some ball skills. He attacks the ball like it's his. I love it. Great play. And that almost saves the game for Arkansas, but Memphis does get the ball back with about 6 minutes left. 5:45, he runs another outside cornerback blitz, but this time he gets picked up and his arc gets pushed out of the pocket past the quarterback, so he doesn't affect the play. There is a long game-winning touchdown drive, but it is run away from his side of the field. Not really anything he could do. And that is basically all there is from this one. So that is my tape eval of Julian Neal against Memphis. Good game. You do see some of the not-so-good stuff, admittedly, but we have to be willing to live with some not-so-good stuff from this guy, especially right now because he is so new. Right? This is not Bud Clark. Bud Clark played way more snaps than Neal. Okay. I think that'll do it. I will see you guys later. Go Hawks. More videos coming tomorrow. We're going to keep going with these rookies until there's not really much to talk about. And I know that starting tomorrow, we're going to get into day 3 guys. So we will see. But see you guys later. Go Hawks.